Hey, Ari here, leader of the Race Mixing Revolution. Thanks for joining me in this video. I wanted to preface this video by saying I have race mixing shirts now that I'm planning on selling in the future, so please look out for that in the future. If you want one, please feel free to get in touch with me. I can put in some things for the orders in the future, and then we can get something going. But I'd love to have something like a shirt to have really in the world that's bigger than me. That's something that people can wear, people can have for themselves, and maybe can start conversations and these kind of things. So cheers. This video I wanted to make to talk about being welcoming. I've had a lot of personal experiences in my life about how I can be more welcoming, and there's been a lot of people in my life that I feel like I haven't been so welcoming to them. I haven't been as welcoming as I'd like to, and it's always been kind of a gamble, you know. I've been trying to welcome somebody into my life, and they didn't want to be a part of my life. I'm welcoming to other people, and there are some people I wasn't welcoming to, but they wanted to be part of my life, and it's this constant battle for who should I be welcoming to, who can I trust. And this is an important thing for the race mixing revolution because I think that in the future, people will be much more welcoming. I think that if there is a world that is so much more connected, and that if we're all mixed race and we start to lose some of our very strict nationalistic and racial boundaries and these kind of things, we're just going to be so much more naturally welcoming. And that's the goal. That's the final goal. This is a very important philosophy for us to keep in mind. So some things that we need to remember when being welcoming is that we need to be empathetic. It's to remember that every single person is just a person that was born into the world and kind of living their life and trying to make sense of it. And so to keep that in mind and to keep in mind, what would I want to do for them if I was them? What would I want to happen for me if I was somebody else? And would this be a really welcoming situation that I can set up for them? That's a very important skill to have, and that's something that we're refining all the time, that sense of empathy. Another thing is to remember that you can play good cop and bad cop regardless of other people around you, and that you should always have a sense of both of these mentalities of being welcoming as well as being rejecting or being limiting or being these more defensive characteristics into the situation that you can balance, really, just because people are unpredictable. That's a thing that you always have to remember, is that people are unpredictable. There can be a situation where somebody seems fine and somebody seems great and somebody seems this and that, but at the end of the day, they can switch. They can, for one reason that is even beyond them personally. They can't tell you why they are unpredictable, but they are. That's something we have to accept. So when you're going to another country, when you're traveling, this is an important time to be welcoming. When you're welcoming people in your home, obviously this is kind of the most immediate example. You want to be welcoming, you want people to come in, and just remember those skills, and remember that this is a moment that you make an impression, and that tells so much more about your life. There's so much more that's going on in your life that in these impressions there's many layers underneath. And so really when you're welcoming, it's a communicating thing. It's something that you can use to your advantage, to welcome somebody in your life and to use them once they're in your life, once they have been welcomed, and then you can try to figure something out, either just in words, or they have some kind of resource for you, or you have some kind of resource for them. This is basically what all of society is based on. And so don't lose that focus. Don't lose that higher goal of this is essentially something bigger than me. Try not to judge yourself too much. Try not to get lost in, there could be something that this person is judging me for. Stay confident. In these moments of being welcoming, confidence is key. And one thing we got to remember is that on the internet, a lot of these things are lost, and so you might try to be welcoming on the internet, but a lot of like nonverbal and subtle vocal cues and these kind of things, cadence and tone, these things are lost. And so if you fail on the internet, it doesn't mean you're going to fail in real life in being welcoming. You're sometimes a completely different person on the internet than you are in real life. That's just a matter of fact. Also, there's cues inside of our brains for when something is safe, when an environment, the biological environment, when we go out into the world, what we see, are we gaining something from it? Can we go into this situation with as low risk as possible? How much risk is there? These are all ingrained in us in a very immediate kind of visceral, raw, biological sense. And the social version of those senses built inside of us are being refined now. We're developing them now. And so if we don't invest into it, it's not going to grow that much. But if we invest into it, we're going to get really, really good at it. We're going to get really good at it. And that's the path we're on right now. But if nobody invests into it, that's the end of the story. Nobody's saving us. Nobody's going to give us that skill magically. So please take these things into consideration. Take my words for your own. Ask yourself some questions about how you can be welcoming or when you need to be welcoming, and is this even an important thing to do? Ask yourself if you have been welcoming to people from other races, if you've been rejecting of people from other races, how you can reduce the paranoia. Is there something that you can attach to that'll give you confidence amongst all of that? Is there something that you can attach to that you can communicate to this person and you can meet in the middle, that you can present that and you can both latch on to that? Because that's kind of the things that we need to focus on in the race mixing revolution, is that there are some specific things that will help us. There are some attitudes and some philosophies and some things bigger than anything that we could attach a racial connotation to that will help us and that will save us and that will be so welcoming for future generations. And every life that is born into this world is a life that we have to welcome. There's a life that basically will either be welcomed or just be thrown into the woods, and whatever happens to the kid happens. So it's important to have this skill. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Hey, thanks for watching my video. Please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. I got a lot more videos coming out in the future. Please share my video, copy the link, send it to some people, share it on social media. Please support me on Patreon. As little as $1 a month, you can help me in these very critical early phases of the revolution, help me build it from the ground up. Please remember my words and take them with you into the future. And thanks for watching again. I'll see you next time.